Hey guys, welcome back to Technologic. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the Asus Zenbook 14 Ultralight. Is this 0.99 kg Ultrabook for you? Continue watching to find out. Let's go. Firstly, let's take a look at the specs. This ultra-thin laptop has a quad-core Intel i7-1165G7 processor. This CPU is based on Intel's 10nm process and boosts up to 4.7 GHz. Moving on, along with the Intel Xe graphics on the CPU itself, the Asus Zenbook 14 Ultralight also has a dedicated NVIDIA GeForce MX450 graphics card with 2GB of video memory. It also has 16GB of LPDDR4X RAM running at a whopping 4267 MHz and a 1TB NVMe SSD from Intel. There is no room for expansion of these though, and the bottom panel has these screws which can't be opened easily. Next, let's see how this laptop can perform. I ran two benchmarks on this laptop, Cinebench R23 and Nova Bench. Firstly, we have Cinebench R23. I got an average multi-thread score of just under 3700, which is slightly lower than expected from an Intel i7-1165G7, but impressive for a laptop this thin. The single-core performance was excellent at just over 1200. Next, we have Nova Bench. I got a score of 2300 for this benchmark, and it is quite good for the specs. Next, let's take a look at some of the hardware and features of the Zenbook 14 Ultralight. First, this Ultrabook is incredibly lightweight. As mentioned earlier, it weighs just under 1 kg and has a thickness of just 14.9 mm. This is really impressive, especially for a 14-inch laptop with a dedicated GPU. Next up, we have the build quality. Build quality was so much better than I expected, as I thought there'll be lots of deck flex and keyboard flex because of how thin it is. However, the lid and the keyboard deck are made of military-grade materials. So, there is surprisingly little keyboard flex and the screen does not wobble. Next, the lid can be opened with one finger easily because of this cutout here below the trackpad. When the lid is opened, the keyboard tilts up slightly as seen on some other Asus devices. This allows for a better typing angle and more airflow to the CPU and GPU. It also hides some of the bottom screen bezel, which is nice. Speaking of screen, this screen here is a 1080p panel with great color accuracy and high brightness. It also has thin bezels all around it. Next, above the screen, Asus has somehow managed to tuck in a full array of sensors for Windows Hello recognition, along with the 720p webcam, which is convenient. The positioning of the webcam is great for video calling too. Next, we have the keyboard. It is a membrane keyboard that feels great to type on. It is also very quiet, making it great for office use. It even has white backlighting, which is a nice touch. Next, we have the trackpad. It is a glass trackpad that takes up most of the available space below the keyboard and is very responsive. It has a backlit number pad that can be activated with a single tap and has a shortcut for opening and closing the calculator app. Next, we have the battery. This laptop has a huge 63 watt-hour battery, which is the same size of many 15.6-inch gaming laptop batteries. Asus claims that it will last for over 17 hours on a single charge, which is very impressive for a laptop this thin. Finally, let's take a look at the ports on the Zenbook 14 Ultralight. This surprised me as this Ultrabook has a good selection of ports. On the right, there is a USB-A port, a headphone jack, and a microSD card slot. On the left, there is not one but two Thunderbolt 4 ports with charging and a full-size HDMI port. Overall, the Zenbook 14 Ultralight is an impressive Ultrabook with tons of useful features. There is really nothing that I would say is bad on this laptop. Though it is on the pricier side at just over 2,300 Singapore dollars, it might be worth it if you need a great laptop that is incredibly thin. I will leave some links in the description below if you want to check it out. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!